Hey, bestie. Hey, boo thing. I am so glad that you are here. Okay, I'm coming begging. Okay, I'm coming begging because a friend in need is a friend indeed, right? Okay, so if you have not already taken care of these little tiny housekeeping things, I would love for you to do that now. All right, I need you to please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. I hope that by the end of the episode, at least you will have liked the video, comment in the comment section, and last but certainly not least, would you please share this episode with someone that you know would enjoy it also. It's coming up in mom of 4, plant mama of 7, music lover with a banging playlist, and 2 left feet, entrepreneur of over 17 years, and though a professional, y'all, I'm still an around the way girl at heart. Earthy, eclectic, free spirit, a few piercings, and a few tats. Road trip lover, random as you fill in the blank. Living, learning, loving, praying, and laughing my way through this amazing adventure called life. And I am here to help you do the same. Hi, I'm Tiffany, and this is Life Unscripted. Welcome. Now, let's jump into this week's amazing episode created especially for you and yours. Hey, my good people. Welcome to another edition of the Life Unscripted podcast. So currently we are in a series that I've been titling Living Well. And so we've been talking about living well, going vegan, living well and letting go, living well and living healthy in various ways. This week is no different. We are still talking about living well. And this time we are talking to Taylor Grant. Taylor is a student studying in Canada on holistic wellness and medical practices. So I'm going to let Taylor take it from here and introduce herself. Taylor, thank you so much for joining us. And let us know more about you. Tell us who you are.
Sure. Like you just said, my name is Taylor Grant, and I'm currently in naturopathic medical school in Toronto. I went because I've been on this healing journey for a while. And so my journey actually started a while back. About 6 years ago, I had 3 concussions within a year, 2 from volleyball, another from a car accident. And of course, that gave me a lot of brain damage. And it took some time, but I thought I was okay. And then about a year later, I started to experience some like seizures and just like this whole myriad of symptoms out of nowhere. I was seeing doctor after doctor and no one could give me any answers, but I knew I was just so sick. And eventually I was diagnosed with narcolepsy, which at the moment didn't sound really correct, but of course, what did I know? And so the doctors seemed even then like quite sure of themselves, but no one would say that they didn't know. I just got pumped with like all of this medicine after medicine that I actually didn't really take for a long time because I didn't feel good about it. And it also made me feel worse and gave me like other symptoms that I didn't even have before. And so it was kind of in that moment that I realized that there were kind of some flaws in the system of medicine from the doctor's point of view, but also the medicine as well. So I kind of like, I had given up for a while. I started to get worse and I got to the point where I thought I was just going to have to quit school. Actually, originally before naturopathic medicine, that wasn't always my route. I actually wanted to become a doctor of just medicine, the traditional Western medicine that we know about. And so I just didn't believe that I was really capable anymore of doing it. But one day I was walking in the hallway and my professor, she was like, I haven't seen you in class for a while. And I just kind of told her my story and why I was going to drop out, because I was actually going to drop out of school. I mean, she was just telling me, like, come see me at my office, because she was actually an upper cervical chiropractor. And so I went and saw her. She was able to actually figure out what was wrong with me, which was my brain stem. So she was actually able to do what the neurologists weren't able to. And so one day, me and her were just having this conversation. She was like, if you could do anything in medicine, what would it be? And I responded with the impossible. And she replied and she was like, that's a real thing, right? And she was like, it's called naturopathic medicine. And literally still to this day, I have the sticky note of where she wrote naturopathy for me to go home and research. And so just after much research, I felt peace about it. And it was kind of this long process that I won't get into, but I ended up actually at the medical school in Chicago, National University of Health Sciences. And so I actually had an amazing opportunity to be able to finish my bachelor's there, which was amazing to be able to get that med school experience still at that level. And I actually thought I was going to stay at the school in Chicago for my entire 4 years of med school. But about a year in, I started to get really uncomfortable. And I was like, God is shifting me. And whenever I get this feeling, I was like, I know that a shift is coming, but I didn't know what that would look like. And so I just began to kind of research other schools around. Like there's like 7 accredited naturopathic medical schools to where you can actually, take boards and become a doctor. And so I didn't feel peace about any of those schools. The only school that was left was the one in Canada. And so originally, like I started to look at it, and as soon as I looked at the Canada school, I saw the oncology. And originally I actually wanted to go into this medicine because I was very interested in cancer. I say this thing all the time. I'm like, I don't believe in the word incurable. And so, of course, cancer is one of those things. And so I was so interested in oncology, and this school had a specialty in it many different specialties, but cancer was one of them. And in that moment, I was like, I'm going to Canada. And I didn't know kind of what I was walking into, but I was like, I know I'm supposed to be here. Just kind of how it was in Chicago, because I really didn't know what naturopathic medicine was, even when I was kind of starting in Chicago as well. And so, like, this time it was a little different though, going to Canada. I wasn't so scared. And although it was kind of like, moving to another country, I knew I belonged there. And so recently, I moved to Canada at the start of January 2020. I moved there, I think maybe like January 2nd or something like that. And my med school journey it's been great. It was going really well at first. And then at about February during midterm time, I wasn't sleeping. I was super duper stressed out. And still kind of just going through this healing journey. And I finished my midterms on Friday. And Sunday, I woke up and I couldn't feel from the waist down to my feet. And so, yeah. And so I went to the doctor, and that's when I actually got my recent diagnosis of MS, multiple sclerosis. And so literally, like in that moment, I wasn't overwhelmed. Like when the doctors came in and told me, I was like, I'm going to cure myself. Like I'm going to heal my body. Even though they say MS, oh, that's just one of those things that are incurable. Like that, it just is what it is, right? It's not fatal, but it just is what it is. And so you'll kind of get worse over time, and then you can use chemotherapy or steroids and all those things. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this route. I'm in the right field of medicine to be able to heal my body. And so that's actually kind of what I'm walking through now. I recently started trying to do some little videos and stuff just to kind of share my healing journey. But it is a journey that I'm kind of walking through now. But yeah, I definitely believe I'm going to heal my body through this medicine. And one thing that I tell people all the time, I'm like, it works. When people say, why naturopathic medicine? I'm like, it works. And it's not necessarily just naturopathic medicine. It's just what I like to call getting back down to the basics, or back down to, just all these things that have been here: creation, nature, and just all of these different, tools that we have always had to use. But I just kind of wanted to give a background of how I got into this medicine. And so I absolutely love it. Naturopathic medicine is, we like to say, whole person healing. And so you go through, it is regular medical school. It's kind of like an integrative approach. And so we understand both sides to it. We understand that sometimes there is a need for medicine, or pharmaceuticals and stuff sometimes, but the body still has the ability to be able to heal itself. And that is what we want to get into, because people don't know that. People don't know that their body is as powerful as it is, because we're not taught that, right? We're not taught that, herbs and food, using food as medicine and all of these different tools that we literally have at our fingertips. We don't know how to use it. Even what we're seeing now with, this whole pandemic going on. I have not seen really any talks about the immune system and how to strengthen it, and that, you don't have to be sick. And that's one thing that we say all the time. Like, you don't have to live this way. Even if you're giving this diagnosis, you are not your diagnosis. You can heal. And so it's a number of different things. There's many there's many angles that you can, take healing from, because no one person is the same. And that is why you can't treat everyone the same. That's just kind of naturopathic medicine as a whole. It's very individualized medicine. We believe in the power of nature. We also believe in the body's ability to be able to heal itself through nature, and through food and medicine. And yeah, so that's just kind of an overview of it.
I think that was a perfect overview of it. And oh my gosh, so many jewels and gems there that you said. My goodness, I don't even know where to begin. And I remember hearing, oh my goodness, who was the artist? There was a gospel artist, Todd Galbraith.
Okay.
And in the beginning of one of his songs, he's kind of ministering to the crowd, because I think the song was recorded live. And he was talking about how this recording, they were, I guess, recording an album, and it was scheduled for whatever the dates was. And right before the album was scheduled to be recorded and released and all this, he received a diagnosis of something, like some kind of tumor or cancer or something.
Oh.
And he was like, and then turned around, and then the wife, ended up being having the same diagnosis.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, God, why? Like, why would you let that happen? That he was getting ready to record, release this album. It's like a high time for him, whatever it was. And then like, here, this happened. And he said that God told him, but why not you? Why not? And he says, and right now, he does not have that diagnosis. And I say all that to say that in the midst of a climactic period in your life, and you feel like you're doing something so awesome, and then to then turn around, and the very thing that you're, like for him, he's proclaiming the word of God, and God's a miracle worker, yada, yada, yada. Here he goes. He ends up being the very one in the need of a miracle, and here you are on your journey to wanting to heal others. Right. And then here you are in the need of a healing for yourself, Right. And I just think it's an amazing opportunity for you to, to first of all, to showcase the power of God, but also to show that, to put your money on what you say you believe in, as far as the power of, the ability for the body to heal itself, and, and all these other things. So I think it's amazing. I love hearing you talk. So you was like, I've said too much. No, I could have listened and listened more and more. And my journey to a more holistic way of living kind of started off similar. I was researching one thing and like, man, how can I take care of this or that with my body, whatever it is I was dealing with. And then, I think I just started not eating certain things. And it really wasn't for any particular reason, like I'm just firmly going to be a vegan or something like that. I've never really been into eating a lot of meat. Now I would eat good, hamburger or something like that. I never felt too comfortable eating hot dogs. I would every once in a while if it was like a family barbecue, but, processed meats and things like that just never were appealing to me. I just kind of in my mind was like, this can't be healthy, and I just never really cared to have it. Now, coming up as a little girl, my grandma we went to the meat market every Saturday, and we always got fresh Dixie loaf and we always had liver cheese. We would always have a fried bologna sandwich, all that type of stuff as coming up. But as an adult, when I can make a choice, no. And as a kid, I never really ate. I'm going to tell you, y'all can revoke my black card if y'all want to, but I never knew how to eat fried chicken. But I know that sounds crazy. But I never knew how to eat fried chicken. I always loved the crumbs and the crumbles from the fried skin. I always loved that. I love fried chicken, like the skin or whatever. But to bite into the chicken, I mean, even as a kid, I'm looking at people and I'm like, what are you eating? Like, what are you doing? To me, the thought of eating something that was once alive just seemed just, ooh, and so it was not for health reasons. It just always went through me. Like, for instance, I remember I was pregnant with my second child, and I was as grown as I was sitting here looking at Reading Rainbow. And LeVar Burton was visiting a farm, I guess, and he was they were like letting him have a chance at milking a cow. Like, they was showing him how cows are milked and how people get milk and all this. And so I will never forget the sound that the milk made splashing up against this metal bucket that they were collecting the milk in. And the sound it was like fingernails on a chalkboard. And when I saw them milking this cow, now mind you, I used to love drinking milk. And of course, back then, milk does a body good is what they used to tell us. We know that's not true anymore, but that's what we were told. And so I would always drink milk. I would drink milk like you would drink water. And so, but this one time on Reading Rainbow, I saw him milking this cow, and I heard the sound hitting this metal bucket, and it just went through all of me. And it just did something to me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I never, ever, ever want to drink a cup of milk again.
Really?
And of course, now I drink almond milk anyway, but at the time, that wasn't a part of my diet. That wasn't something I was even looking into. But anyway, I've never really ate chicken, and I always, I would love a good burger. And, but just over time, as I began to research like different little things that were going on with me, and I was like, let me see, what is a way to take care of this? How can I? And I began to study and research and found Herbalist Kareem. His YouTube channel is 4 Cycles of Life. And he does like things on like hypertension, diabetes, like all kinds of stuff. He also has some videos on like running a business, but his main thing is on the holistic side. He's a master herbalist. And so he talks about how, all kinds of stuff. You can heal, glaucoma, like all kinds of things going on with the body. And so one day I was Googling like the things that were going on with me. And then I began to I came across his page as a page of reference. Go to YouTube, and I saw a plethora of videos that this man had put out on just various conditions that you might experience with the body and the health and your health. And after I watched one video and I was taking notes, I began to watch another and a sister and a brother. And like, I just couldn't stop. And before I knew it, hours on this one particular Saturday had gone by. And he had just took me to school. Like, I felt like I had just been in school. It was so amazing learning so many things about the body and what the body can do if you just do it, if you let it, and if you let it rest, and if you eat the right things, use the right herbs, eliminate certain things from your diet. And from that, I just had this thirst for additional knowledge. And so I began to look every which way I could. And then I just, for whatever reason, came in contact with people that had been cured from cancer. And they were like, they had used certain diets and eliminated certain things from their diet, took certain herbs and all this. And I was so amazed with people that were able to say that they had been diagnosed with something like that, and yet they made some dietary changes and began taking certain herbs or whatever they did, and their body had, had healed, or whatever the case is. You be careful with how you say all that. So legally, so being careful with all that, their body had changed, the diagnosis had gone away, whatever you want to say. But all that being said, I was just like, wow. And so that made me look into it even more. And so I came across some social media pages and some books and more YouTube videos, and man, I was sold. And so I began to slowly but surely definitely cut some things out, of my way of living. And it went past just the food, although the food is a really big piece of it. But I know that I began changing the way, the deodorants that I would use, because then I learned that, your body, the skin is the largest organ. And when you put, when you put lotion and body oils and perfumes and colognes and whatever your soaps that you're using, certain things, when you put those things on your body, on your skin, they go into your body, into the
Right.
bloodstream. And you not realizing that, you're thinking, oh, I'm eating right, I'm healthy.
Right.
No, if you're putting certain deodorants under your arm, if you're putting
Right.
certain lotions on your skin, those things are going into your body, and they have the
Exactly.
capability to make your body just as sick as the wrong foods could.
Just
So
as sick.
I began to, like, switch out my deodorants. And so I went on this path, girl. I tried different deodorants. And I mean, they had me just as funky as ever. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I tried different brands and I'm like, ooh, this one doesn't have this. This is aluminum free. This is this and that free. It doesn't have this, doesn't have that. And so I'm trying to, trying to be down for the cause. And so I'm trying these different deodorants and I'm walking around, honey, and I'm just this, ooh, I could have passed out myself. And I thought, oh no, we can't do this.
Oh
So
no.
after months of trying this and months of trying that, and I almost gave up on the deodorant part. I'm like, look, I'm gonna have to raise my hand when I'm sure. Like, I can't do this. I'm gonna have to go back to some degrees, some secrets, some something. I can't do this. And so eventually I went to in Kentucky, or in Louisville, we have a few local stores called Rainbow Blossom. And I went to Rainbow Blossom because it was like my favorite little health food store, well, not just health food, but they had, all these vitamins and herbs and supplements, and you can buy bulk herbs there and all kinds of stuff. And so I went there and I found this little ugly bottle of deodorant. It was not sexy at all. What are some beginner steps that you would suggest they take just to kind of try it out and just kind of go from there?
I would say that first step, which I say with anything, is know, or especially with healing, is know that it's a process. Healing is definitely a journey. Or even if you feel like you're healthy and you just want to take steps towards, a healthier lifestyle, or just making, subtracting certain things or whatever it is, know that it's a process. Because I think a lot of times we get, or at least speaking for myself, I get very ahead of myself. And I'm like, I can see myself here. Let me just jump here. And so I would say first step is just kind of know that it's a process. And then also just start. I also tell people to think about adding rather than just trying to subtract everything at once, because a lot of times it's really hard when it's something that we've been doing our entire life,
Mm-hmm.
especially like for me, I've always eaten soul food and all that. Like, that's what I grew up on. So it was very hard for me to just say, today I'm gonna wake up and I'm not gonna eat anything bad, And so
Mm-hmm.
over time, it became more of like, okay, like, especially, consulting with my doctors, and they're like, well, just start adding more. So start incorporating more leafy greens, start drinking more water, maybe take this herb, start adding. And then as I begin to feel better, I was like, okay, now I don't need these other things. And so I begin to subtract little by little. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I'm not going to eat this processed food anymore, or I'm not going to eat all these, things that can cause more inflammation in my body that is going to make me worse, So then I'll start subtracting things. But I would say definitely focus on adding more things. Also, start cooking. I would definitely say start cooking more, because a lot of times is what we find is when we go eat out, which I still do sometimes, is like, sometimes I do go out with my friends or whatever, but with that being something that's just so consistent, you don't really know what you're getting. And so when you're cooking, you kind of have a better, you know what you're putting in your body, right? If you're eating organic, or if you're eating, every ingredient that is going in there. So I would definitely say start cooking. Also, find some inspiration. When I first got on this journey, I started following pages on Instagram. I started watching YouTube videos. I started watching documentaries and things like that. Like, especially, I told you before, I was very interested in cancer. So I started watching the Truth About Cancer documentary and the autoimmune series by the same director, and all these different things. I watched, what was that show on Netflix? What the Health? I just started watching all these different
Yes.
things just to kind of inspire me to want to do more. And I still do that to this day. Now I'll literally just go to Barnes and Noble and I'm just like picking up book after book so I can increase my knowledge. Because, like, we truly are, my people perish for lack of knowledge. We truly are perishing because we just simply don't know. And so I believe in just increasing your
Absolutely.
knowledge and find some inspiration in it, because it really is, you can make it fun. It doesn't have to be boring. You know, a lot of times we think, oh man, eating healthy is just boring. It doesn't have to be. You know, you can make it, it is what you make it. And so find some inspiration, follow some cooking pages. I would also say get support. Like for me, I literally have a support system home and also have a support system in Canada. Like my friends are like, no, Taylor, your body needs to heal. You can't eat that, or you can't drink that, you know. And so get maybe some accountability partners. I would also say just don't stress it. Like stress, you know, we talk about healthy eating and we talk about, you know, even the things that we're putting on our body and all that, but stress is a killer. It increases inflammation in the body and all that. So I would just say, you know, also focusing on the mind. I tell people all the time, I'm like, the mind is number one. Before you can heal the body, you have to be able to heal the mind. So not only decreasing, you know, your stress or stressing about it, or how am I going to try to do all this at once? Also with just changing your mindset on how you view it, right? Like if I view my body as something that is beautiful and it's powerful and it can heal and all that, that is going to change the way that you go about, you know, the choices that you made. And so with that, and I would also say something I tell myself all the time, I'm like, Taylor, just give yourself some grace, like be easy on yourself, right? Like this is a process. It is something that, you know, it's going to take, so it might take baby steps. Right now I'm taking some bigger steps, but I'm also gentle with myself. So I'm like, you know what, if I didn't make a good decision today, then I'll make a better one tomorrow. Or, you know, maybe I'm gonna wake up today and I'm just not gonna be so hard on myself. And so, and then the last thing I would just also say, reward yourself. I find that when I reward myself, I do better. So if I'm like, today I went and I drank water and I ate good all day, now maybe I can make me a little healthy dessert or whatever it is. Or maybe I can go out with some friends, or maybe I can do this or that. Also reward yourself, because I feel like it'll, you know, the more we reward ourselves, the better we'll want to do. And just know that, again, like I said before, like healing is a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. There are little things that we can do over time that will ultimately, you know, just give us more time here. I tell people all the time, I'm like, we all have something that we want to be doing here on earth. We all were born for a purpose. We all have something very significant to do here. And in order to be able to do that and do it to the best of our ability, we have to be healthy and whole. You know, again, there's many angles to that. I also would say find a doctor that can help you along the way. You know, a lot of times a part of that accountability is maybe finding a physician. So naturopathic doctors, one thing I love about it is it's very preventative. So the first time that you see your doctor, I don't believe should be when you're sick. Maybe see them while you're healthy so you can prevent that. And just, you know, just making these little steps over time that will ultimately just give you better overall quality of life. So
I think those are amazing, 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 amazing. You have been awesome and a plethora of information for us. I know personally there were some books that I just adore that I want to throw out there as well. And then I'll have more on my social media pages, you guys, as you're listening, tune in and you'll see more resources. But I know one book that I absolutely love is the Detox Miracle Source book. And it's written by Dr. Robert Morse. That's Morse, Morse. Yes, it's called the Detox Miracle Source Book. And I remember like 2 years ago, my birthday, and my sister was like, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I was like, "I want this book and I want this book." And she's like, "You want a book? You know, a detox book for your birthday?" I'm like, "Yes, I have to have that book." And so
Aww.
it teaches you about the body and just oh my gosh, it's so good. And then are there any books that you would suggest for our listeners to try to, you know, to pick up or read or pages to follow?
I would say, so definitely on Instagram, I follow a lot of either holistic doctors, naturopathic doctors, and even some MDs. I would say one of my favorites is probably Dr. Mark D. Hyman on Instagram. He's a medical doctor, but he's kind of gone into functional medicine, which is naturopathic medicine, but of course they call it that, functional medicine. And also another page I love on Instagram is Regenerative Performance. And so he's a naturopathic doctor located in Phoenix, I believe, in Arizona. And so he's absolutely amazing. And so there's a lot of other pages, literally, if you just go and type in like naturopathic medicine, I follow a lot of those indie pages. I just follow very random things, or also hashtags on Instagram. I go on
Mm-hmm.
hashtags and I'll type in naturopathic medicine on the hashtag, or holistic medicine, or healthy living, and then a lot of pages will pop up. Books wise, I'm still reading a lot of them. I have one called The Truth About, I still read The Truth About Cancer to this day, because it's not just about cancer, but it's also just kind of about the body's ability to be able to heal, and then kind of what's going on in the system overall. Other than that, I just read very random things all the time, but those are kind of my favorite. I think I do more looking at pages on Instagram than anything. So.
I think that's awesome. Well, Taylor, I really, really thank you. I hope that there is somebody that heard this episode that will be curious enough to dig a little deeper and even just consider a more holistic and natural way of living as a result of this episode. Because it truly can save a life. It really can save a life. I mean, there's no reason why anyone should leave this earth sooner than they need to.
Right.
Like you said, there's so much work that each of us have been given to do. So don't leave any sooner than you have to, all because you wouldn't drink more water or cut out processed foods or whatever it is that needs to be done to just help preserve the life that you've been given, And one thing we didn't mention, but it's super important, is exercise, just moving the body,
Yes.
just
That
moving the
is
body, getting
vital.
the blood
Very
moving,
Yes.
helping those lymph nodes drain, all that good stuff. You touched on massages, and helping those lymph nodes drain through massage is super important.
Yes.
And so, yeah, those are key as well. So anyway, all that being said, we thank you. And tell everybody how to follow you, if you don't mind, if you have a page you'd like to be followed, and if, whatever.
Sure. So on Instagram, my name is Taylor Made. So TailorMadee. And then on Facebook, you can find me on Facebook. I'm not on there as much, but my name is Taylor Grant. That's TaylorGrant. But I'm actually starting to do a lot more on Instagram now, and I'm going to try to get more involved in all of this stuff, and getting, just the message out there in general about healing. Because the truth is, your body can heal no matter what it is. There's something that we can be doing. And so I want to be able to get that word out and be able to show people just how powerful they really are. Yeah, follow me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Ladybug. Have a wonderful,
Absolutely.
wonderful rest of your day.
You as well. Thank you so much for this.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Well, that's another amazing episode in the books. I appreciate you stopping by and listening, because I do this for you. Now, it's your turn to join the conversation. Please weigh in on this episode by visiting organizedenergy.co/podcast and do two things. One, leave a written or audio comment or questions regarding today's conversation. And two, let your voice be heard by casting your vote in this week's poll based on this episode. And now that we're family, let's stay connected. Still, go to that same link, organizedenergy.co/podcast. Enjoy my Love Shine community. Why Love Shine? Because it's all about love, and it's all about light over here at the Life Unscripted podcast. Or you can find me on your own simply by visiting Facebook. You'll go to Organized Energy Consulting, find our community and groups, and then join the Life Unscripted podcast after party. Also on Instagram, find me at Life Unscripted Podcast. On Twitter, it's Life Unscripted P. And show a little love by sharing this episode with a friend or two or three. Speaking of showing love, before I get out of here, I gotta remind you of something. I want you to always remember that self-love is one of the best forms of love, because no matter who comes, who goes, no matter who chooses you, who doesn't, who forgives you and who doesn't, who values you and who doesn't, so long as you choose you and you love you and you see value in you, and you take time each and every day to celebrate yourself, take time right now and write this love note to yourself. And not only do I want you to write it daily, but I want you to recite it daily in the mirror. Repeat after me. So you say your name and I'm going to say mine. Dear Tiffany, I love you. I forgive you. I accept you. I choose you. You have worth. You have purpose. You have value. You matter to me, and you matter to God. My words, my thoughts, my decisions today will prove this. Tiffany, you're already winning. You are already blessed. Keep going. Do not give up, because the very best is yet to come. All right, Love Shines. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Time is a commodity, and once it's spent, we can never get it back. So I truly appreciate you spending just a little bit of yours with me. That's a wrap until next time. I want you to know that I love you. I'm praying for you, and I want nothing but blessings, love, and light for you and yours. Have a great week, guys. Hi. Do you feel like you have way too much on your plate to get accomplished and very little time to get it all done? Is anxiety like on 1,000 right now? Take a deep breath and woosah, and then reach out to me, because I am a trusted confidant and accountability partner, and I can help you master time management and work-life balance as a professional. And because I specialize in helping to develop brands and the professionals behind them, I could also help you with your small business. So whether you're still in the conceptual stages of the business, or you're trying to figure out exactly how to launch, how to brand it, how to market it, how to look good, and how to operate efficiently so that you're working smarter and not harder, I'm still your girl. For more information about how I can help you, find me at organizedenergy.co, where I am helping to develop. It is awesome to listen to my show, but wouldn't it be amazing if you could launch your very own? Go from listening to launching when you pick up my new book called Is This Thing On? The Super Simple Guide to Planning, Launching, and Scaling Your Podcast. And of course, it was written by a podcaster for new and aspiring podcasters. Building a brand and operating a business can get a little hectic sometimes. I mean, there's a million things to do and you only have 2 hands, but not to fret. I've got some goodies for you. I want you to visit organizedenergy.co/spill the tea. organizedenergy.co/spill the tea. I have curated a list of some of the favorite tools and resources that I use as I operate my business that have been amazing for me. They have helped me to save time. They have helped me to build my team. They have helped me to stay connected with my people. And I absolutely love so many of these tools. I want to share them with you, and it's free to download. So again, go to organizedenergy.co/spill the tea so that I can help you get started working smarter and not harder.